Good morning, boys and girls. This is Miss Jerome-Severe that's coming to read you another story. So while school is out, Miss Jerome is going to read you tons of stories. So you could read. If you don't have books at home, it's okay. You get to hear the stories. And also, I will ask you questions and you get to answer the questions for your mom and dad. Okay? So, parents, this is the best time for you to sit with your child and listen to the story and help him or her understand the questions I'm asking, and then see if they could answer you the questions. And if they don't, you could give them the answer just for feedback. And then you could read the story again and again. I mean, listen to the story again and again. And then, like that, they could understand what the questions mean. Okay? So, boys and girls, put your listening ears on. So, like that, you can enjoy the story. I forgot to speak to my other parents. Bonjour, parents, c'est Mrs.Jerome-Severe. Moi, li histoire ça. M'encourage nous pour nous tendre histoire plusieurs fois. Et puis, pour que nous capter question, soit pas qu'à comprendre question, répéter your question plusieurs fois, qu'on sache chercher expliquer. So, comme ça, si vous entendez l'histoire plusieurs fois, il y a qu'à venir une idée qui ça, livre là a parlé. Eh bien, c'est Miss Jerome-Severe en nous aller. All right, so we're going to read the story. This is one of my favorite books. I have tons of this book, so I'm going to read for you guys and put for you guys, okay? So it is called Fancy Nancy. I have all different kind of Fancy Nancy. This one says Fancy Nancy, the Dazzling Book Report. So she has to do a book report. So I don't know if you read Fancy Nancy in your classroom, but Fancy Nancy, oh my gosh. So I have to read you the book, the other one that tells you why they call her Fancy Nancy. All right, so this is the front of the book. This is the title of the book. This is an illustration. An illustration is a picture, a drawing that's about the book. This is the title of the book right here. The title of the book is the name of the story. It tells you it gives you an idea what the story is going to be about. And the author name is down here, Jane O'Connor. So the author, who knows what the author is? Oh, yes, the author is the person that takes all the alphabets, put it together, and make the word. Yes, and the illustrator, what is an illustrator? Yes, an illustrator is the person that take all the crayons, all the markers, and draw this beautiful picture. All right, so here we go. Fancy Nancy, the Dazzling Book Report. Monday is my favorite day. Why? Monday is library day. Before we leave, we select a book. Select is a fancy word for picking a book. It's like getting a present for a week. Bree select a book on dinosaurs. Rabbit select a book on funny poems. Teddy select a scary book. I select a book about an Indian girl. She has a fancy name, Sakajawi. You say it like this, Sakajawawiya. Sakajawiwa. So she even showed us how to pronounce it. You see, she even put it right there so we could pronounce it. So she's gonna read a book about an Indian girl. Later, Miss Glass has thrilling news. Oh, that's a fancy word. I'm telling you, Fancy Nancy loved to put new words. Thrilling. Thrilling is a fancy word for exciting, or even better, more than exciting. We got to do a book report. What did her teacher wants to do? What does the teacher wants them to do? A book report. Wow, I never done that in first grade with my class. Your first book report. How how grown up? My mom says at dinner. Yes, I know, I say. My book is a biography. It is about a real person. So the book that she's reading is called a biography. So if you were to write a book about yourself, that book would be a biography because it's about a real person. Okay? After dinner, I read my book. Dad helps me with the hard words. I learned all about Sakajawari. Sakajahari was a princess. She lived 200 years ago out west. She helped two explorers reach the Pacific Ocean. She has a lot of fancy word. Explorers. Oh, I wonder what is that word. Go ahead, if you know what it is, tell mommy what is an explorer. But if you don't know what is an explorer is a person that goes around and they find different places that no one had found before, or maybe they found something there, so they're the first person that found it. So that's an explorer. Mom takes me to the art store. I need stuff for the cover of my book report. I want it to be great. So where is she going? Where is she? She's at the bookstore. She's at the art store. I am the second best artist in my class. Isn't that bragging? Oh, what is bragging? What do you think it is? Oh, what do you think it is? That's what she's saying in the book. I'm the second best artist in our class. This isn't bragging. Can you ask anybody? So she says she's not bragging. Can what is bragging? Go ahead, tell your mom. All right, so bragging is when you talk about yourself all the time. Oh, look at me, I'm the best writer. Oh, look at me, I'm the best reader. Oh, look at me, I'm the best singer. So everything is you. Everything is about you. Only you. So that's bragging. I get a bag. I get a bag of little beads. I got some yarns and some markers, and I start working on the cover. I work on it every night. I make Sakahari look very brave because she was brave. She found food for the explorers. She kept them safe from the enemies. So this is on one page, on this page right here, this is what she bought. She put in her bag. And this on this page, this is what she's working on her cover page. She's working on her cover page to do her book report. Just remember to leave time for the words. Mom kept saying, I will, I will, I will. I will tell her. I tell her. Miss Glass wants you to write about the book. Dad says over and over. That's what a book report is. I know that. I know. I tell him. I know. Writing the words will be easy. So here she is. She's too busy drawing and she's too busy. But guess what her mommy kept reminding her? She has to do what? Leave room for her story. And then guess what her dad kept reminding her? That it's a book report. It's not just about gluing and doing the project. It's about she has to write too. Ta-da! The cover is finished. Sakajaria has yarn braids, beads, and fringes are glued to her clothes. I must admit, It is dazzling. What does dazzling mean? Oh, that's a fancy word for eye-popping. Like when you see something, you're like, whoa. So she made Sacagawea look dazzling. Now I will write my report. I get out my lined paper and a pen with a plume. Ooh, that's a fancy word for a feather. Ooh, yeah. Fancy Nancy, that's why they call her Fancy Nancy, because she used a lot of fancy word. So she got a pen. So this is my pen. And then if I put a feather on top of it, it makes it fancy. But in a fancy word for a feather in French is a plume. Oh, she's so fancy. That's why they call her Fancy Nancy. So do you see her plume? So let me see if I could find it. Oh, she's holding it right there. Here's her plume, her feather. And then the feather does not have to be like animal's feather. It could be anything fluffy. The trouble is I'm tired. I know all about Sakawagi, but the right word won't come. What am I going to do? I have to hand in my report tomorrow. Oh my goodness, I am desperate, I tell my mom. Now, what happened now? She is what? Tired. Why is she tired? Oh, tell mommy why she's tired. What did she spend her whole time doing? And what did her mommy keep telling her? And her daddy kept telling her. I am desperate, I tell my mom. Oh, desperate mean I'm in trouble. So she's supposed to be writing the book report. She have her plume, her pen with the plume ready, and she has her paper ready. And now she is tired from doing what? From doing all that fancy artwork that her parents kept reminding her what? She had to do her book report. You're absolutely correct. Mom, let me stay up longer. Still, my report ends up only 2 sentences long. When you do a report, it has to be more than 2 sentences. But she stayed up. Her mom let her stay up, but she could only write how many sentences? 2. How do you know? Yes, the story said it, and that's what she did. The next day, everyone sees my cover page, and guess what they say when they saw her cover page? What do you think they say? And the next day, everyone sees my cover page, and everybody say, "Wow!" So this is the next day, her with her teacher and her friends. So she's showing the cover page. Guess what her friends say? Wow. Why do they say wow? What is that word that she used to describe the cover page? Do you remember what word that means eyes popping? You're like, that's right. If you say dazzling, you're absolutely correct. But hearing other reports make me nervous. All of them are longer than mine. All of them are more interesting. So she's listening to all the kids' story. She's listening to all their stories. Everybody's sitting on the floor and listening to the story. She's like amazed, amazed by the report of the other student. Amazed. She's amazed. That's another dazzling word. She was amazed by their work. It was very interesting. But now, So her story is only two sentences. So how do you think she feels? Look at her picture. I'm not even gonna let you see the word. I'm trying to cover the word. Look at her face. How do you think she feels? Go ahead, talk to your mom and dad. How do you think she feels? Everybody have long story and sentences, and hers is only two sentences. How do you think she feels? Look at her face. I read my report. Sakagari was a heroine. She helped people in trouble. And then everybody waits to hear more. But there is no more. There is no more. She described her, but there is no more. And then how would you describe? How would you describe Fancy Nancy? She have no more to say, and the kids are waiting to hear more. How would you feel? How would you feel that everybody's waiting and there's no more? Did you say sad? Oh, sad is not the word. Did you say ashamed? That could be a good one. Oh, did you say embarrassed? Oh, that's a good one. That was a good one. Did you say timid? Timid is shy. Would you say she was shy? Hmm. I I am crestfallen. Ooh. I am crestfallen. That is a fancy word for sad and ashamed. Wow, I learned a new word. I am crestfallen. This is a fancy word for ashamed. I spent too much time on the cover page, I tell Miss Class. And Miss Class understands. Why don't you tell the class about your book? Here she is talking to Miss Class, how she is crestfallen. Oh, I like that fancy word. I She's crestfallen. But guess what Miss Class say? Miss Class say, don't feel so ashamed. Don't feel so sad. What's that fancy word for ashamed and sad? Crestfallen. She said, don't be crestfallen. Why don't you just tell them? So I did. I tell them all about the brave thing Sakahari did. Sakahari was a heroine. That's another word, a hero. Miss Class is a heroine for me too. At least she is to me. Aww. So, looking at picture of Fancy Nancy, why do you think they call her Fancy? Looking at her picture, if you look at the way she dressed, does she dress like the other kids? I mean, she has a feather in her hair. She got fancy socks, fancy shoes. Her hair's fancy done. Oh my god, everything she wears is fancy. The end of the story. Wow. I That's why I love reading Fancy Nancy because she have all these fancy words. Now, I have a question for you. Have this story remind you sometime you crestfallen? Crestfallen? Huh? Was there a time that you're like embarrassed about something? Oh, um, so here's another question. What did the whole class had to do? Okay. Another question. Will the project they have to do, will everybody have the same project? Will everybody have the same project to do in the class? Another word, will everybody do the same book? Another thing, what was Fancy Nancy's problem? And another question is, what was what did the other student do that made Fancy Nancy, what's that word? What made Fancy Nancy, let me see. Mm, um, that made Fancy Nancy find the student's story very interesting. Um, And how did she describe when she finished did her cover page? What is that fancy word she used? All right, that's it. That's Fancy Nancy. I hope you like it. So I'll read some more Fancy Nancy. So this is Miss Jerome Severe. I put my book on the side. So this is Miss Jerome Severe reading the story to you. I hope you enjoyed it. And then I will read some more books for you about Fancy Nancy. Boys, don't be I'll find some boys' stories, but guess what? Boys, you could listen to Fancy Nancy too because then you get to learn those fancy words that she used. And like I said, the more you read, the smarter you get, and also more vocabulary words you learn. So just because it's a fancy girl doesn't mean you can't you cannot read it. And also, if the I don't think they have a fancy boysy boy. I was being funny, but maybe one day you could become an author and write a book about fancy boys. All right, so this is Miss Jerome Severe. Enjoy reading a book to you. So I see you later, alligator in a wild crocodile. C'est Miss Jerome Severe qui te vient lire une histoire pour nous. À bientôt.